I've been started doing medical transport about a week ago. It's something interesting. Kind of works out good for me because I already get up early. I probably set my alarm clock about 50 minutes earlier to get my butt up to do what I have to do. Pretty easy. It's pretty much picking somebody up, taking them to where they need to get to. And I've been liking that so far. I did that today. Couple different people, cool conversations. It's always interesting meeting people. Um, you never know. Everybody has something to share, to give, knowledge, or with laughter, whatever it may be. So there was some interesting conversations with a couple of guys. Actually, one of them was from the Bronx. He's probably about 7 years older than me, but he had close to a similar story as mine, and he was from the Bronx in the neighborhood close to where I grew up at as well. So we kind of was trading off on a couple of stories and memories or whatever it may be, which was cool. Other guy was as well. I had to pick up two people at the kind of the same time. We had like a little conversation. It was cool. Um, but same old stuff. Get up early, have my little coffee. I love getting up early. It's quiet, no interruptions. You could just do what you got to do. You focused. I get up and I exercise. It gets me going, get my body, my blood flowing, loosen up my muscles, make me feel like I'm ready to, conquer, take over the world. Got my books. So I'm looking this way. I got my books over there, my journals that I'm working, that I write in, and I'm take notes and whatever it may be, just to kind of keep myself on track. My Bible, reading my Bible, reading about uh, the story of David. And I've read in the Bible many times. I've read like whole books that are within, the Bible, bunch of different books all put together. I've read books, but I've never read, I guess, what is you call it, Samuel 1, that book. I think that's how you pronunciate it. I'm Spanish, so we say Samuel. But yeah, in that book. So I started reading that, chapter 16. It kind of introduces David, who he is, his father, and his many brothers. And then chapter 17, it starts talking about his story. So it was interesting. I'm not gonna go deep into that of what I've been reading on, but I like it. I've always, my name is David, so I know that my mother, she gave me that name because it was a biblical name. So and everybody knows about the story of David and Goliath. Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm about to go, I'm trying to stray away from going deeper into that story because I was finding out more than what I knew about it. And I found it was cool to know, cool to come across that information, that knowledge of his story. What I wanted to kind of chit chat about was just starting. I kind of started all these little things that I've been doing. It makes me a better person, and eventually, like I have a goal. I don't really have a. Now that I just thought about it, I don't have a goal, or I didn't really have like a vision of myself or where I want to be at, um, like mentally throughout this process, which is crazy because we all have, like, we set goals for ourselves, like we want to accomplish this. I want to get this job, or I want to be in this predicament financially, or this is what I would consider me being successful. This is the goal that I have. I want to get this house, I want to get this car, I want to save this amount of money. But we don't really set goals for ourselves as far as development, mentally, physically, or maybe physically we do, like, oh, I want to be strong, I want to be able to do such and such. I want my booty to look like this, I want my chest to look like that, I want my arms to look like this. But where are we, like, mentally? Do we set goals? How do you do that? How do we set goals mentally? Like, is it I want to be more at peace, or I want to have a certain amount of knowledge if I read these books, or if I work in a certain way. It's interesting. So I think for everybody, that's a different story that looks different. And that's something that I have to sit down and come to that, not realization, but understanding of who I am and who I want to be in order to figure that out. So with that being said, like what is your goals with yourself? What are you aiming to do? What are you aiming to be? Who are you aiming to be? I know me, I'm aiming to be a better person. I'm aiming to unclutter whatever nonsense that I grew up with, that I grew up in, the trying to be like anything or whatever it may be. You know, we all have these masks of these persons that it's like who we let the outside people see. You know, we have layers of people to see you, and your family, your real friends. They know the truest versions of of who you are, but everybody else sees, you know, that outside version. You know, we put up a version like to protect ourselves, so we don't want anybody to judge who we are or misunderstand us. So we don't want to have to defend who we are or what we like to do. So we show people a certain face, a certain mask. So me, I just want to come to mature. I grew up rough. I grew up fighting. I grew up arguing. I grew up being mean, saying mean stuff to people, mean shit. I don't hardly curse. I've had this thing where like you know, in real life, like I curse a lot, but I'm very mindful, and I try to be, and I do that on purpose. But it's like sometimes it's like I'm doing it. I'm mindful on here because it's like certain people that I want, or that I'm trying to be respectful towards. And it's mostly like it's like I got older family members. I grew up in church. Yeah, as crazy as that sounds. It was my first opportunity of me not having to go to church. I stopped going to church. But I grew up in church. A lot of family members, you know, from my mother, my grandparents, everybody was in church. So to this day, there's still a lot of family that I have that are in church, but I don't know them. They're like I'm not saying I don't know them. They're like far away from me. They're in other places, so they see me on social media, and so I try to be mindful for them. But at the same time, I am who I am, and not being able, I feel restricted in not being who I am, and sometimes I like to curse. Sometimes that's a lot, but I am very mindful. So I kind of felt good. I felt freeing to be like shit because I'm always considering other people. So, like I was saying, is that's why I want to be. I want to be respectful and kind and caring to all sorts of people. Of course, to the people that I love and care about and respect. Um, at the same time, there's a lot of people that I blindly, well, not just blindly. There's a culture. I've grew up like a culture, like respecting a particular culture and a way of life. There's a lot of people, friends that I have, and family as well, like from the streets or whatever it may be, that I put up a certain way. You know, so it's like a lot. It's like you trying to please too many people. I am at at some point in my life, you come to that realization and you just want to let things go and just be yourself. You know, I grew up goofy, even though I fight and I argue and stuff like that. And sometimes some of those situations create opportunity for me to get into a fight or arguing, if somebody thinks I'm goofy or something. I have to defend myself or let somebody know like this ain't that. So I I I guess my goal is just to be free of masks, free of trying to do too much for other people, respectfully. and just be who I am for myself. I think that's freeing. That's all I want to do. I want to be free. I don't want to tiptoe around people, around cultures, around anything. I just want to be David, whatever that is, whoever that is. So that's, if anything, that's what I've been doing, and digging deeper into just being myself, being a better version of me. So that's all I really have for today. I got to sit down and think about that some more. I like to be give myself time to just meditate and in the quiet and just see how I feel, what thoughts come across my mind. But I think I'm gonna sit with some intention and really think about what direction my life need to go towards in order to be free. So with that being said, I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful day, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.